loneliness is not the absence of people. Loneliness is the absence of intimacy and certain levels of intimacy. And I said, Jesus, if that ain't the realest shit I heard all week.
So sit back and relax. That's scary. Melanie P. Talk to him.
Scary with Melanie P. That's scary with Melanie P. Come on.
Welcome to another episode of the That's Scary with Melanie P podcast. I am your girl, Melanie P. And it's been a while since I have come to you with the bullshit that Todd has created. Y'all, it is literally April 7th, and I have been trying to record a podcast now for 5 days. So the last podcast that I recorded was the whole P. Diddy thing, right? And I literally recorded that because I had been gone for a week for work. So I was not in the city, in the state. I was out of town for a week for work, right? And that truly just like threw me off of my rhythm. So then when I got home, I came home to all of this P. Diddy stuff, and I'm like, okay, I gotta just get back into the rhythm of things. I gotta get back into the rhythm of recording. I have to get back into my rhythm of, my schedule, right? Because like being away for a long amount of time, having to be on flights and stuff, it's a lot. And it really throws you off of your schedule. And for me, one of the things that I have been struggling with a whole lot this year is my time management. So to have to pack a bag and to leave for 5 days and then come back and then jump back into my rhythm has been pretty difficult. So when I got back from out of town, I clicked on everything and I saw that there was this whole P. Diddy thing. I did a video. Make sure you guys tune into that. Like, share, comment, subscribe, obviously. But then it's like April 1st came. The retrograde came. And something said, okay, so I had this before I begin all this shit, y'all. Make sure you stop and hit the subscribe button. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers. It is the #1 podcast. I claim it. This is my outlet. This is our outlet. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button and you share, y'all. So I just came back from brunch. I just had a couple of mimosas. So I'm trying to push myself to get back into the rhythm. So anyway, came back, did a podcast on P. Diddy, and then I could not get back into the swing of things. Now, what I did get back into was I started eating right. I've lost a couple of pounds. I'm trying to lose like 10 to 15 pounds the next couple of weeks. So I haven't really been doing a lot of drinking because, wine has a whole lot of sugar in it, and I was drinking the wine pretty heavy. So my weight kind of increased. And so I'm like, okay, no alcohol throughout the week, a glass or two on the weekend. But last week, it's like, and I hate to say the devil, but it really felt like it was some type of energy just over me, and I couldn't get into things. I could not sleep. I could not stay in a positive mindset. I was just truly off. The only thing that I was able to stick to and do right was eat healthy, not drink. I lost a few pounds and just kind of be on my health kick. I was able to work out every day last week, and I had that going for me, but like mentally it wasn't working. So then like Thursday or Friday, so I did finally get some sleep because Monday I did not get no sleep. Tuesday I did not get no sleep. Wednesday I did not get no sleep. Finally, like I think Wednesday night must have been the first night that I got a full night's rest. And I was supposed to record Thursday, but then the person I was supposed to record with is a whole nother story, and that put me in a really bad mood. So I didn't record, and I'm a believer of things happen for a reason. So I kind of tried to just let that go. And I've been kind of forcing myself to push through. So I've been forcing myself to kind of like push through. I got some sleep towards the end of the week. I didn't record at the end of the week. And then someone posted on Facebook and said, wow, this Mercury retrograde is kicking my ass. And then I felt like a ding, 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 like, oh my God, it is Mercury retrograde. It all makes sense now. And on top of that, I started my period. Like, again, TMI, but Mercury retrograde, and I'm, menstruating, whatever you say. And it's like, oh my God, everything is coming down on me. My mood was off. I felt depressed. I felt low. I couldn't just get into things. Now, there were some things on the outside that was, affecting me that really wasn't anything that I had control over. So I know that certain things weren't like mental, but it just seems like everything was kind of coming down on me. And I was going crazy. Like, I really feel like I was going crazy last week. And I'm saying all of this because people always get up here and they're like, oh, I had a great day, great life. Everything's so perfect. And shit was not perfect last week. On top of that, I keep it a buck here. My teenager is getting on my last nerves. Co-parenting is a piece of shit right now. Thank God. Well, not thank God, but my teenager will be 18 in a couple of months. So that's a whole nother podcast and a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But last week, the first week of April kicked my butt. Not only did it kick my butt because of the Mercury retrograde, but then I found that there was a hurricane. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, okay, you know what, girl? This is just the energies, the spirit, the retrograding, get yourself together. So yesterday, my good friend Mia, friend of the show, had a housewarming party. She's going to be back on soon. So I kind of tried to get myself back into the swing of things. Had a really great brunch earlier this morning. Great mimosas, great brunch, good energy. And so I'm kind of back on it. I'm kind of just back on it. But April was not giving what it was supposed to give. And I feel like one of the things that I'm truly struggling with is like time management. I don't know. Like, I'm really, really struggling with time management. And I feel like I've said that a couple of times on the show, but my time management is off. And I feel like last week was just a full representation of like the fact that my time management is to shits. I don't know why. And here's the thing, obviously I have a baby and my baby is almost 2. She'll be 2 in August. And I hate to play that role of like, oh my God, I'm going through postpartum still. But a friend of mine sent me something and said, people think that postpartum is literally right after you have the baby, but it could last up to 2 years. Like there were like postpartum can be from 18 to 24 months. And so I'm thinking, okay, well, my libido is to shit. My mood is, not my mood, but really my libido, but my energy just feels so depleted. When I put my baby to bed, if I'm not recording a podcast, then I literally I'm just ready to go to bed. So when my podcast is like, if I'm not recording a podcast, I'm truly ready just to go to bed. And I don't know, because I'm thinking, well, damn, is that like, I like to understand, and hold that mirror up to my face as I was talking about in a previous episode. But it's like, is that depression? Like, could I be depressed, But I really feel like it is a whirlwind of things. I think it's just trying to juggle like my passion. I think it's trying to juggle being a partner, being a mom, being a podcaster, being someone in corporate America with a very stressful job, trying to be a friend, being a daughter, being a sister. I mean, there's so many things and like things that I'm trying to juggle. And, something is going to, I don't know if it's a matter of something's going to like be neglected or if, I'm just going to be super tired. I feel like spending time with my friends is something that I'm not doing as much as I want to. Even my podcast, like I feel like that's one of my top priorities. And even though it's my top priority, I have to hold myself accountable and hold that mirror up, because what am I doing altering my ability to be able to manage my time effectively? Now, here's the thing. I know that there are certain factors in my life that I currently do not have control over that probably affect my mood, probably affect my ability to move around the way I would typically move around. And that's another podcast for another day. But I'm trying to think of like things that, that I have control of. Like I keep, my brother always says to me this scripture about, Lord, grant me the ability to focus on the things that I have control over, and I'm ad-libbing, and, the wisdom to know the difference of the things, you know what I'm trying to say. And so I'm trying to focus on the things that I do have control over, and I have control over like how early I get up. I have control over how I maximize every hour of the day. I have control over working out, because working out consistently, it boosts your mood and boosts your serotonin and boosts your energy levels. I have control over what I can eat. That makes you feel better. I have control over having an actual calendar and like adhering to my calendar. So there's things that I can do to better my time management. But yeah, it's some things that I could do, but there's also things that are out of my control. So anyway, yeah, April, I will give April a 50-50. It's been good in the health and wellness aspect. It's been a struggle in the first week. Now, what I'm going to do and what I've been trying to do all day is trying to fake it till I make it, and like shift things up, So whether I want to or not, I'm trying to make sure I get up, like, get in the most positive mood set that I can, get up, put on clothes, be productive. I think for me, because I'm a Libra, and you're tired of hearing that, but because I'm a Libra, I thrive in organization. I thrive in stability. And when things are not in order, when things are not stable, when I don't have a routine, a comfortable routine, when I am not in a mentally stable place, even if my hair is not done, you know what I'm saying? If my toes are not done, stuff like that, like it throws me off. And those things are more so like the, low hanging fruit. But like, I really, really thrive on like being stable. And when there are areas in my life that are off, it throws me off much more than what it should. And that's something that I guess I need to work on. But I don't know. I think I'm really trying to fake it till I make it. So tomorrow's Monday, and I do know that my job is about to, be even more stressful than it currently is. And I know that I have these certain, Q2 goals for work, Q2 goals for my podcast, Q2 goals for my own personal self. And here I go making these like, list again. But I think it's just a matter of like, maybe writing it out, writing things out, having a plan, having a regimen. What I did do was, my closet has been just full of clutter, clothes on the floor. That's not my energy. So I finally did get up yesterday morning, me and my baby, clean my closet, organize my closet, put what I needed to put in the dirty clothes, so nothing's on the floor. And I'm not the kind of girl that will have some shit on the floor. And I have had shit on the floor for a good month. When I'm in a space to where I can like really give y'all the nitty gritty, this will all make sense, I feel like. But right now I'm in a very unstable, like, I don't want to say unstable because that sounds like I'm like, I don't know, that sounds like I'm homeless, but I am just in a space where I feel like, and this is me being transparent, y'all, and I have a whole podcast dedicated to this, what I'm about to say, but at my age, there are certain spaces and there are certain goals that I have for myself that I have not hit. And I feel like in my subconscious mind, that is wearing on me. And I feel like, okay, I'm a little bit older, so I have a lot more wisdom, a lot more maturity. But with that wisdom and with that maturity, there are some realizations of some wrong choices that I've made. And even though I am mature enough to be like, okay, this is where I'm at, here's what's going right, I think in my subconscious mind, the things and the choices that I've made that are affecting my current life, they're the things that are causing me anxiety and stress and low-key depression. And I don't feel like I'm depressed, but I feel like I am intentionally focusing on the things that I have control over, and I'm intentionally putting the things that I don't have control over in the back burner. And while that may be good, the things that I worry about that I can't control are still somewhere stirring in there. And I just think that I need to, number one, I really need to find a really, really good therapist. Number two, I need to, although last week I was able to lose a couple of pounds, I was eating right, working out, I need to make sure that that is something that is consistent and not just something that I did last week. There's just so many things, I think cutting out the alcohol throughout the weekday is really good. I'm hoping and praying that, I get some really good consistent rest and sleep next week, because last week, not having no rest for the majority, not having no good sleep for the majority of the week, it really proved the fact that sleep is so important. I listen to a lot of other podcasts, and I like a lot of self-help type podcasts and Instagram pages and stuff. And one thing that I see often is that, sleep is the sustainer of life. And I sleep pretty good for the most part. I'm a magnesium girl, so I take 2 scoops of magnesium at night. Every blue moon, I'll take a sleeping pill just to kind of get some really good sleep. But last week I ran out of my sleeping pills and my magnesium just wasn't doing it, and I wasn't getting no sleep. And so that was really making a bad week even worse. And I found myself yawning all through the week. I found myself taking these little mini naps throughout the workday. And again, I don't have the kind of job that I could just take a nap, child. So I was really, really hoping that nobody, you know what I'm saying? Nobody called me. But here's the thing. I think here is the bright side of it. I feel like I'm here for a reason. Again, my podcast is something that's so important to me, and the growth of my podcast is something that's so important to me. I feel like I finally kind of found my niche, in the podcaster space, and, I'm excited about that. And I have to understand that sometimes when you have a strong purpose we all have purpose, but when you have a really, strong purpose, your purpose, you're going after your purpose, I feel like sometimes the fleshly outer world will attack you even more. And that's something I feel like I'm struggling with, because one of the things that I said on that podcast I had recently with my brother was a lot of times we pour so much into other people, especially as moms, wives, whoever. Sometimes we pour so much into others that it's important that we have somebody and something to pour into us, because when you're pouring into other people or other things, pouring into your job so much, who is replenishing and refilling your cup? You cannot pour from an empty cup. And I feel like someone said this to me. I saw the most deep thing to me that on TikTok earlier today. They were talking about being lonely. And this person was saying that you feel like, oh, well, why am I lonely? Because I'm always around people. I have all these friends. I'm never alone. Why do I feel lonely? And the TikToker was saying like loneliness is not the absence of people. Loneliness is the absence of intimacy and certain levels of intimacy. And I said, Jesus, if that ain't the realest shit I heard all week. Like, you can be around people all the time or around one or two people all the time and still feel lonely, because a person being around you is just a body. But being able to be, like I said in another podcast, naked spiritually, intimate in the spiritual, not the physical, is a whole different level of intimacy, is a whole different level of just like comfort. And I feel like so many times, especially in relationships, people associate everything to physical, touch, hug, kiss, whatever. But especially with women, and I'm so excited because I have a intimacy coach coming on the podcast this week, and I got so many questions for this lady. But intimacy, right? Intimacy is not just physical. Intimacy is not just physical. And I think intimacy is another lifeline, to a happy and sustainable life. And imagine those of us, and here's the thing, there's a lot of people who are in relationships who lack intimacy. And I do not mean anything physical. I do not mean anything physical. And it makes me think about people I know, or don't know, or people I know on Instagram. And I just wonder, like, how naked are you with your partner or your significant other? Like, there's so many different levels of intimacy and there's so many different levels of love. And I think about just my friends and family and stuff like that. And it is so great to have a partner, right, that's there. But how intimate are you with your partner? It makes me want to actually look up the definition of intimacy, right? Let me look it up. Define intimacy. So intimacy is defined as close familiarity or friendship, closeness, a private, cozy atmosphere. Let me see. The real meaning of intimacy, it means being able to share a whole range of thoughts, feelings, experiences that we have as human beings. It involves being open and talking through your thoughts and emotions, letting your guard down, being vulnerable, and showing someone else how you feel and what your hopes and dreams are. Oh my God, let me repeat that, y'all, because this right here explains it all. Intimacy is being able to share a whole range of thoughts, feelings, and experiences that we have as human beings. It involves being open, talking through your thoughts and emotions, letting your guard down, being vulnerable, showing someone else how you feel and what your hopes and dreams are. And here's the dangerous question I want you to ask yourself. How intimate are you with your significant other? Do you openly share your thoughts, your hopes, and dreams? Are you truly vulnerable? And when I think of vulnerable, I always compare this to being like naked on a stage. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you truly naked on a stage with your significant other? If I had to guess, man, I feel like 90% of like marriages and relationships do not have that true definition of intimacy. And that's pretty sad. I feel like everybody's goal should be to have intimacy in their relationship, even in your friendships. I almost dare to say that people have more of a intimacy with friendships than they do with their relationships, like with their, romantic relationships, right? I feel like when I think about my friendships, or even if I think about, not even me, but like my other friends and how they are with me, I feel like there's more of a raw intimacy with your friends than there is with your partner. And why the hell is that? Because ultimately your partner should really be your best friend, or at least that's the goal. That's really food for thought. I feel like my homework for the listeners, and this is like my welcome back because I've been gone, y'all. I'm about to be back to posting videos every other day. But my homework for you is to really delve into what the definition of intimacy is. If you're dating someone, if you're, talking to someone, if you're married, even if you're like single and you have close friends, like together, sit down, look at the true definition of the word intimacy, and have a conversation about whether or not you feel like your relationship has the true definition of intimacy. I feel like that was God coming through me to you guys, y'all. But listen, I am back. I took a little week hiatus from doing every other day episodes, but listen, I am back. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you share, comment, like, subscribe. Comment below, y'all. It really helps me. It helps the algorithm. And this is the #1 podcast loading. So I will see you guys in the next episode.